Alrighty, guys, super excited to be breaking down Jesse's Instagram page. Jesse just hopped into the Real Reels School a few weeks ago. He's already been making some massive improvements on his page, his profile photo, his reels, and I think Jesse has an extremely high chance of having a huge 2025, even just the first quarter of 2025. I would expect his follower count to skyrocket to 5K, 10K, 20K, who knows? And I'm going to dive into why I believe that's true, what changes we're making in his brand. And first, I'll start with kind of what's been missing that's kept him at this sort of 3,000 followers here for a bit of time. So what's been missing? First of all, Jesse, just wanted to, bit of background on him. He's a more like body weight calisthenics type coach, but he does weighted calisthenics. That's why he's actually built, pretty massively. These are the 5 movements that he typically works on: dips, chins, handstand push-ups, muscle-ups, and pistol squats. All of these are, I believe, probably most of these weighted, probably not the handstand push-ups just yet. And he just got a world record in handstand push-ups in an hour with 136 reps. So the dude is by no means a beginner, intermediate at all. This guy's very advanced in what he does. And these are the 5 movements that he loves focusing on. I believe his 1RM for dips was 85 kilos. He weighs about 90. So I think he's working on that body weight dip, which would be huge. And this is really his passion and his love. So the call that I had with Jesse, I really got an understanding of like, this is what he loves doing. This is what he loves coaching and talking about. Well, the question that I asked him on the call was, what fires you up when a client comes to you? If a client comes to you and says, Jesse, I need help with this, I want to learn this, what could they say that is going to fire you up the most as a coach? And he essentially said this. I think he specifically probably said these 3 right here: dips, chins, handstand push-ups, and then these 2 were added because they're still important, but these 3 were like the core, right? So what's been missing is the exact opposite of this: a lack of coherence or a lack of bringing back the brand and the subjects of videos to these 5 movements. So I'll just run through some quick examples of this. Now, a lot of his movements are, here's a pistol squat, dips, there's a dip here, dips, so the dips are definitely there, right? And the handstand push-ups are over here. It's all there, but there's quite a few videos. I would say currently a majority of them, like this is BJJ related, this is calorie deficit related, this is purely bench, even gymnastics type stuff and getting too bulky. Not to say none of this is important to these 5, but what we have to do is actually circle it back. So here he's talking about calorie deficits and buying batteries for your scale and whatever. An easy way to turn this sort of video into a video that relates to these 5 topics is, why are you getting in a calorie deficit? Are you getting in a calorie deficit to weigh a few kilos less to be able to dip a few kilos more? Right? That's kind of the thing that we're trying to go for here. Is you can still talk about other topics that are outside of what Jesse has. It's like his niche right here with the Savage 5. You just have to find ways to loop it back in. So for example, here he's talking about females saying they don't want to get too bulky, and talking about building larger lats. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he uses a row example here for the lat building. I mean, there's a female there doing chin-ups, but he's using rows. This would be an easy opportunity to replace the rows with the chins, given that the chin-ups are kind of his bread and butter pulling movement. It would make the most sense. And again, it's not that he can't ever do rows, but when a pulling movement or a lat building movement is needed, I believe it's going to make more sense for him to focus on chins and make rows secondary to that. Here he's talking about running, right? No mention whatsoever of these 5 movements. Now, obviously running isn't one of these 5 movements, but there is a way to loop running into this topic. And that could be something like, basically he's saying, don't jump into running too quickly. There's an opportunity here to say something along the lines of like, obviously strength building is important, but if you want to become a true athlete, and then he would reference these for, strength building, but if you want to become like a more explosive and well-rounded athlete, incorporate sprints as well. But this video was entirely about sprints. So there's a lot of examples of this. The thing that Jesse does have that's really good is the experience of making videos. I mean, the dude has over 1,000 posts. So I know that he can be consistent with what he makes. He's funny. He has the physique. He has, the ability to speak on camera clearly. It's just honing all of this into this 5 points right here. Now, a little bit more of a minor thing that's been missing is like some coherence around the editing style. If you scroll through, it's kind of all sorts of things going on. There's like this AI captions. There's this, I believe you made an Instagram. There's this that's a little bit more, polished and whatnot. There's this, there's all sorts of styles going on, right? And there's not really that coherence that people are looking for when they come to your page. You want your page to almost be a library of information. When someone comes in and they want to learn about one of these things, they can scroll through and easily pick out things. But right now, like, I don't even know, the majority of these videos, what they're about based on the thumbnails. That's a pretty minor thing. Another thing that Jesse already fixed, I don't have the old photo, but was replacing his bio. So his profile photo. His old profile photo looked something like this. I think he was flexing down instead of up. And it's a bit of a generic shot, right? It doesn't tell me that he's like a body weight, strong mastery guy. So this photo is perfect. It still shows him. I mean, it doesn't show his face clearly, but it shows him clear enough and in the handstand push-up position for me as a potential follower and a potential client to know who he is and what he does. Another thing that's been fixed is his link in bio. I think this is the old photo that he had roughly. I believe he didn't have these two links before. This is just making it a lot more inviting for me to click on. I believe these are both videos. Double check. Yeah, they're both videos embedded into his link in bio, which is amazing. It just, if I'm someone that wants to learn my first rep or get better at dips, then it's immediate value for me, as well as this ebook. Really, really good stuff. Just to get people, off of Instagram. The one thing I would say, if he doesn't have it linked, yeah, he doesn't have a call book linked. So I would definitely want to get that up there as soon as possible. And then I would probably move these links as well down to the bottom. Most people are not going to care about these, but if they do want to find you on TikTok, Facebook, etc., they'll find a way, and they'll find it, down low in the link in bio. Now, the other thing, yeah, so that was fixed, the link in bio. It was only like one or two links before. The fact that he added the YouTube videos is huge. The one other thing here is this word coach. Now, I've heard a lot of differing opinions about using the word coach. A lot of people have had negative experiences with hiring coaches in the past. So it could, have a negative connotation for people when they see that you're self-labeling as a coach. That's something I've seen people have differing opinions on. But also here, there's an opportunity to really highlight this more, to focus around the Savage Five. So fitness, nutrition, and mindset coach, to me, that's 80% of the health and wellness professionals online is this, right? And you don't want to be in the 80%. You want to put yourself in the 0.001%. So here's an opportunity to say something along the lines of bodyweight savage coach, or just bodyweight savage, right? It's implied, in my opinion, that if you don't have the word coach, but you're clearly fit, you're clearly instructing other people on how to be fit, and you have links to more information and free ebooks and things like that, it's pretty implied that you're a coach. You can kind of get around not needing to use this word and just kind of let the results and the content speak for itself. And if you have, right here with the down arrow, get freakishly strong and defy gravity, I think it could also be made a little bit more clear that there's a free ebook to download to get started. So saying something like, get your first handstand push-up now with the down arrow, that makes me more interested in clicking this link down below. The last thing I would say on what's missing, and we've already switched this up a bit, but I think it could still further be improved, is these highlight images. So I'm not sure if whoever's watching this is watching on a phone or a computer, but these highlight images are way, way smaller than they appear on the computer, way smaller. So you really want images that are really easy to see, really easy to see what's going on. Like this image is quite easy to read. This one, not as much. I think it's a lady, like her clothing is kind of just blending into the background. This one is, I think it could also be made a little bit more clear. The tattoo makes it kind of hard to, because the tattoo is covering up a lot of the image. So it's kind of hard to see what exactly this is, in my opinion. So I would still work on improving these highlight images a little bit further. Now, shifting into why I think Jesse is going to have a huge, huge 2025. I've already mentioned a few of these things, but honing into these 5 and him having the physique already, having the world record, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to go for other world records here in the coming months. And the humor and personality. If you scroll through, the dude knows how to speak on camera. He knows how to crack jokes. It's just that the jokes being cracked have not been kind of pointed all in one, stable direction. So the more we can point it in a stable direction, the better off we'll be. And one thing I want to touch on here, and I can kind of write out some examples, is oftentimes with some clients, they have a lot of topics that they want to talk about, but they feel that they can't due to not being able to kind of rein it into their topics. So I've got a different client that's really big into like spirituality, mindset, holistic living, right? Avoiding blue light, avoiding seed oils, all these things. But his niche is more focused on office workers reversing out, years of sitting at a desk. And he often feels this like struggle of, how do I talk about these things that I'm passionate about without leaving behind the audience that I want to speak to? So similar here, right? Jesse might want to talk about a calorie deficit. Now, if you just make a video that's purely a calorie deficit video, it's pretty off brand. There's a million and one reasons people want to be in a calorie deficit. You need to find a way to convince the people that want to do these movements, and these movements well, why they should get in a calorie deficit, or why even you, Jesse, are getting in a calorie deficit, right? So instead of saying, here's how to get in a calorie deficit, it's here's how I got in a calorie deficit for my world record, for example. Or you could be for my 85 kilo dip, or it could be for my max muscle up day, whatever, right? You want to give people more than one reason to click on the video. When you only make a calorie deficit video, there's only one reason to click on it. And there's literally millions, or maybe not millions, but thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of calorie deficit videos. But how many calorie deficit videos are there out there to prep for a world record, to prep for a near body weight dip, right? There's not that many. Another video or topic he's talked about is like the running thing. So instead of making a video that's entirely about running, which again, there's tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of videos on how to start running, you want to make one that's going to be specific to someone who's interested in these 5 movements. I don't know Jesse super, super well, but I know that he wants his athletes to be well-rounded. So running might be a part of what he offers for his clients. Now, his clients come in wanting to do this, and he starts programming running, they might be a little bit confused. But if you prime them with a video such as, if you, what are we saying here? Something like, body weight savages, and then it would be, B-roll clips of his strongest lifts. Bodyweight savages need to incorporate sprinting to reach their most explosive. Something like that. That could definitely be worded better. But essentially, you don't want to make a video that's entirely about running or sprinting if it doesn't relate to someone who's interested in this. Same thing with sleep. Like if the importance of sleep is something that Jesse wants to talk about with his clients, an easy way to do that would be, instead of just saying, here's how I optimize my sleep, which again, there's tens of thousands of videos of that, is here's how I optimized my sleep to dip 85 kilos, to hit a world record, to hit, I don't know what his muscle up record is, but to hit 13 muscle ups, right? That's all of a sudden so much more interesting, and you're putting yourself in a category of 1 or maybe 5 in the world that have made a video about optimizing sleep for these freak world record body weight 13 muscle up standards, right? So that's really what we're going for here. And what that allows Jesse to do is have an unlimited range of what topics he can talk about, as long as he can find a way to bring it back. I believe Jesse has a pretty young child. I think she's 2, 3, 4 years old, something like that. So he could even make a video. It's like, here's how I don't know if he'd want to make one like this, but here's how I juggle being a dad and working on a body weight dip, 90 kilos. It's such a niched video, but again, how many people in the world are making this video, and how many people in the world even have the ability to be working on this video, to be a dad and working? I mean, dad is fairly common, but a dad working on a 90-kilo dip is absolutely insane, right? So there isn't a single topic on earth that you have to avoid talking about, as long as you find a way to loop it into whatever your topic is. I'll do that. My client Ruben is the one that's he enjoys talking about, avoiding seed oils, blue light, grounding, outdoors, spirituality, mindset, meditation, breath work, all these things. But again, his client is office workers, right? Office workers who used to do sports, right? So a way to talk about, blue light, for example, and the importance of avoiding blue light, especially in the later hours of the day, instead of just saying blue light's bad for you, use red or blue light blocking glasses to improve your sleep, is as office workers were hit with artificial blue light for 8 hours a day in the corporate world, here's how to counteract the damage, to optimize performance. Something like that. You just have to prime a couple of spelling mistakes there. There we go. You just need to prime the video topic to actually be relevant to the office worker. If you just dive straight into blue light bad, here's how I fix it, you're already losing the majority of the people that you actually want to watch your content. So prime videos to be important to the type of person that is interested in your content to begin with, and then you're able to actually discuss a lot of things that you may have otherwise thought weren't really possible to discuss. So hopefully that gave you some good information. I think Jesse's going to absolutely crush it in 2025. He's already put the reps in. He knows, and I know that he's capable of creating content at scale consistently. All we really need to do is hone everything, and I truly mean everything, into these 5, whether he's talking about personal life, diet, travel, competitions, sleep, mindset, meditation. It doesn't matter. He can talk about all of it as long as it is looped back into here. So if you guys want more information about the Skool that I have offering, or just hopping on a call with me and breaking down your own page, or you want me to just send you a loom like this and breaking down your page, happy to do so. Just shoot me a DM over at Real Reels Academy. I will spell it out here. Real Reels Academy. That's at Real Reels Academy on Instagram. Just shoot me a DM there. We can chat. I can send you a loom breaking down what changes I would make on your page, and hopefully we'll chat soon.